Hi, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. This is Naya Fling, is what I'm calling it. I wanted to play a deck that used Luxknight Breacher. I haven't seen a lot of people test with it. I think Kalikai's did a Jeskai Synth Cryogen Relic deck with it, but I wanted to make a deck where I could just cast it, make a 20/20 or whatever, and then fling it at my opponent. I already recorded a league with this, and unfortunately there were some issues with the audio, so it's not really going to be something I can put up. So I'm trying another one, but I think the way to make this work is I needed the deck to have other creatures that were big enough to fling. I didn't just want it to be just Luxknight Breacher, so I didn't want to do Core Skyfishers and Glithawks, because then fling would only ever be good with Breacher. So that put me into green, so that we can get big creatures like Avenging Hunter, Writhing Chrysalis, and Nyxborn Hydra. So we have a bunch of ways to make really big creatures. Ideally, we'll just attack our opponent for a bunch, and then fling to win the game. We also have a Wedding Invitation as unblockable, kind of a fling effect, and just an artifact that sits on the field and draws us a card. What's the best way to ramp in the format? Of course, it's Cleansing Wildfire, so we're doing kind of a Naya Wildfire fling deck. We have a bunch of bridges, we have some Sheltering Landscapes, Great Furnace, Ancient Den, and a bunch of basics. And then we want to just have a lot of creatures and artifacts just sitting on the field for the Breachers to be enormous. So we're playing a bunch of Inspectors, which are 2 permanents for the Breacher. We have some Krark Clan Shamans, which can eat up our artifacts as another way to use them. Galvanic Blasts, of course. We have a Makeshift Munitions, another way to use them. 4 Ichor Wellsprings as card draw. We have 4 Demand Answers. Obviously, this is not as good as if we were playing Fanatical Offering and we were playing black, but I had reasons to be in all 3 of these colors. Demand Answers will do a decent impression. It can still sack the Wellspring to draw 3, or if we just get a little flooded, it can discard a card as well. We also have a 1 of Pulse of Marasa for some life gain and recursion. And then in our sideboard, we have 4 Dust to Dust, 3 Thraben Charm, 5 Pyroblast effects, and 3 Weather the Storms. So let's take it into a league and see how we do. All right, round 1 here. This hand is not amazing, but we do have our mana, which is very important, and we have some early drops. So I think we'll give it a go. Looks like we might be against Jund. We're probably the worst version of a Jund deck, but we'll see what we can do. Could also be Grixis or something Rakdos. Great Furnace actually points more towards Grixis. Refurb. I think we'll just get rid of this Plains. Demand Answers. Let's just play an Inspector and a Bridge. Next turn, if I don't draw anything specific, I'll probably just go for the landscape to get green to set up for a Chrysalis or obviously Hunter, but probably not going to Hunter while this Familiar's around. They swing for 2. Could also be Mardu, I suppose. Grixis indeed, though. Another Familiar's pretty annoying. I guess I probably just get rid of this Hunter at this point. It's looking pretty bad. Wildfire would be a good draw. Of course, we get our Hunter again. Swing for 1, and I want to try to keep artifacts on the field when I can, so rather than like crack a clue, I'm going to put down a Wedding Invitation so that our Luxknight Breacher can be as big as possible. And we're going to do this just in case I get like a green bridge. Wildfire, not bad. I'm still just going to play this landscape here. Chrysalis is probably one of our best draws so that we can actually block these Familiars and stop taking damage. We're going to 14. Blood Fountain. They have a seat. Looks like they might be a little pinched on black mana, which is good. Get out of Forest. Krark is completely useless here. Attack for 1. Gonna Wildfire. Pull out another Forest so that we could Nyxborn if we want to. Bridge. I could play the Bridge, but I might just want to hold up Demand Answers to like sack the Invitation. I think I need to draw to something. I might just discard this Bridge too, or the Krark, honestly. If they don't play a creature that is on the ground, Krark is just not helpful. They don't have anything to play at the end step is good. Also, just a Galvanic Blast or something would be nice, so that we could just stall them a little bit. Taken 4. Thoughtcast. Mere Enforcer. Play a Wellspring. Blood Fountain. 2 cards left. Dust to Dust in the side will be pretty good. I'm gonna demand... I think we are gonna discard the Shaman. I guess even if we get rid of these guys, they're gonna come back with the Blood Fountains. So Hunter still just feels terrible. Let's try not to draw the 3rd. I mean, Inspector chumps, but we cannot draw anything. We have at least 11 cards that would either block or kill these, and we've not drawn a single one. I'm gonna Demand Answers. Where are my creatures? Amazing. I guess we'll play a Wellspring, Inspector, and a Bridge. Krark Clan Shaman wipes away the Inspectors. If they have any Galvanic Blasts, that would be lethal. Bargain the Krark. Swing for 8. Finish off with the Galvanic. Okay, well, that was pretty annoying, because any of these 6 would have blocked. I mean, even a Fling would have at least let us throw an Inspector. Galvanics would have been fine. Munitions. All right, we get 4 Dust to Dusts in. That's the good news. Krarks do not seem good here. Makeshift is okay. Invitation's fine. I don't think Hunter's terrible. They don't have a lot of threats, but they do have decent amount of removal and stuff. Maybe cutting one of them's fine. And an Inspector. All right, no bridge. Man, if we just had a bridge, this hand would be amazing. As is, it's okay. I think we keep it, but just no bridge is pretty frustrating with the 2 wildfires. I think we'll get white, just because we might need double white for a dust to dust if we draw one. We get our green source, play a Wellspring, Galvanic. I mean, if we can draw a bridge next turn, we can still start using the wildfires. If not, it's pretty awkward. Demand answers. I mean, that's probably better. I'll just hold that up, sack the Wellspring. They have a refurb. I will demand in response. Breacher, not looking great at the moment. Yeah, they have a blue blast. I thought that was a possibility. Pretty annoying. I think I'm just getting rid of the Breacher. No, we don't need 2 wildfires with this hand, unfortunately. Ancient Den. I mean, I guess we just play a Chrysalis. Yeah. We have double white. The only good thing about what we have going on is that if we get a dust to dust, we can use it right away. But pretty annoying draw, for sure. Another refurb. I mean, part of me still wants to keep the wildfire, but I think it's just the worst card. I mean, Wedding Invitation might be worse, but actually, if we put it down, since we haven't had any bridges, we also have so few artifacts. Like, Breacher's only a 5/5 right now. 6/6, because of the Chrysalis too, but yeah, pretty annoying. And they, oh my gosh, they have another one. I guess we get rid of the invitation now. 6/6 is still not terrible, and they have an Enforcer. Okay, Galvanic only deals 2 damage. Landscape, I guess, I don't know. The gods just hate me? I don't understand what's happening. I could play the Landscape, so I could play the Breacher and hold up Galvanic. Because if they just cast this down, I'm taking a lot of damage. But I kind of want to have this to cycle. I think I'm just playing the Breacher as a 6/6. Spell Bomb is fine. They do swing with the familiars. I would assume this means just a Galvanic. They'll go 2. They'll trade the 2 for 1, or maybe a Toxin Analysis. But I'm not just taking 6. So we're going to block. Okay, they get in for 4. And now they cast into the fire the spawn? Okay. I mean, I'll sacrifice them. I'm kind of confused. They just threw away a familiar. I mean, maybe they also have a Galvanic, but they don't need to do this. Yeah, okay. So they spent a cast into the fire they didn't need to, because what they should have done is when I blocked, they should have Galvanic blasted the Chrysalis. Then I either let it die, or to kill the familiar, I have to sacrifice both of the spawn, and then it'll trade. So they threw away cast into the fire they didn't need to. Not that I'm complaining. Nyxborn Hydra is interesting. I could just play it for 4 now and it blocks everything. They have no cards, and then I could attack with a 6/6. I think I probably just want to play the Landscape, get a green. Now I obviously wish I played it last turn. But then I can make this a 9/9 with Trample. And yeah, if they find a removal spell for this, it's pretty bad. I could just attack, put them to 14, play a 4/5. Then they can't attack. I actually think it's better to do it this way, to just attack. Otherwise, I'm throwing away 6 damage this turn. I'm not making this enormous. I'm only making it a 9/9 with Trample, which doesn't even kill them in 2 turns. So I'm actually not killing them really faster. And this way, I don't have to wait an extra turn. I don't waste this entire turn just to get a green mana. So I think this is probably the best way to do it. If they don't have removal, they still have to throw something away here. If removal, they just get like a Galvanic, they still have to trade a 2 for 1. But a cast down would obviously just kill this. They use the Spell Bomb. We did leave the Pulse of Marasa in. I was going to say, so it's good they used their Spell Bomb, but they found another. They might crack through that too, though. Yeah. Okay, so again, Pulse could be online. They find a Vault, and they just pass. Wellspring's not bad. I'm going to tap out a green, I guess, here. If I get one more artifact, that turns Galvanic Blast fully online. Bridge is not bad for that reason. Otherwise, it's not the best draw. But this means I can attack with both now. And depending on how they block, I mean, they're going to have to double block unless they just want to chump the Breacher, which would be fine too. And if they double block, I can Galvanic to get a 2 for 1. They're going to double block the Breacher. They brought Cast on the Fire in, so it's possible they could have one to prevent our Metalcraft. So I should just shoot the Familiar here. There's not really another reason to do it any other way, I don't think. And that works. So they're down to 10. They just find a bridge. Can't swing. We'll sack this for another white, I guess. Inspector cycles. If we find removal, that probably will just win us the game. If we find a Hydra, that would do it too. Hunter's fine, but we'll swing. They chump, take 4, and pass. All right, we got game 2. That's what happens when we get 1 Chrysalis, which can hold them off for a couple of turns. So that was quite good. And we didn't even see a Dust to Dust. So, and that was the hand with the bad Cleansing Wildfire draw, I'm impressed that we won that game. I mean, they did flood out a little bit. They had 7 lands, I think, at the end there, but they also drew a lot of cards. Oh my god. Well, do we keep the 6-land Dust to Dust hand, knowing that we also have to use this landscape to find a white source? They didn't mulligan, so their hand is fine. If they have a Cast into the Fire for our bridge, we get set back a lot. You know what? YOLO. This card can win the game single-handedly, right? Hey, look, an artifact land. Okay, now you're speaking my language. So if I play a bridge, I'm susceptible to a Cast into the Fire. I think if we just Dust to Dust them on turn 3 and 4, we will be fine. And for that reason, I'm just gonna play non-artifact lands. And that's what I'm doing. Spellbomb, totally fine. Sack this for plains. Dust to Dust to Dust to Dust seems pretty decent. There's a bridge. We don't need any more bridges. And again, playing these after everything else is not my favorite, but this is the turn. If they can, like, put down 2 familiars, I mean, we could just take away both familiars, so it's not the end of the world. Still annoying. If they just do 1 familiar, maybe we take out 1 land and a bridge, 1 land in the familiar. Just that, I can live with that. I think we're gonna take 2 bridges, because if they don't have another land, they're stuck. Wildfire is more lands, but so be it. I think we're gonna take them off both of their black lands. And if they play another land next turn, then I can Dust to Dust both of them. And if they don't, I can take away their bridge and their familiar. But they only have 1 mana. They could crack the Spellbomb to draw a card here, which isn't a terrible idea, just to make sure they hit their land drops. Do I think that this was a good hand to keep? Not really. But also, Dust to Dust is absolutely insane when it says exile 2 target permanents, which is basically what it says in this match. So they also had to lose some affinity count to get that card draw, which I appreciate. They attack for 2, and they do have a Silver Bluff bridge, but not for long. we get more bridges. Well, I'm gonna set them back to the Stone Age, and then we can start cleansing, wildfiring. I mean, all we need now is like 1 threat, and we'll be in a pretty good spot. They attack for 2. If we lose to this familiar somehow, that would be hilarious. We get an Inspector. That's not bad. Let's wildfire. Pull out another green, another Inspector. Well, I tapped wrong for this. I'm going to play the Great Furnace so I can crack this clue. They find a bridge. I mean, things are not going quite as I want them to. Galvanic's not bad. That stops this, finally. Dust to Dust. Okay, I think I'm going to just Galvanic this, and I'm going to save the Dust to Dust for when they play another land, because I don't see how they come back from that. Whereas if I do it there, maybe they still could. We'll crack the clue right away in case we get a wildfire, and we'll pull out a land, and we'll play a bridge, and we'll pass. Oh look, they found a land. Good for them. Let's take them both away. You've been bad. You don't get lands. Attack for 2. I should have probably just demanded answers first, just in case, but I don't really have anything hasty. You gotta be kidding me, dude. Well, if they happen to find 2 more lands, we are going to send them to the Shadow Realm. They're going to be so tilted. And look, we found our Breacher. I could technically just take their 1 land now with our Dust to Dust, but they cannot do really much with just 1 land that I don't really think it's a big deal. And also, I really want to tilt them. They have a Blood Fountain. Well, that's lucky. Wellspring. If we find a Nyxborn, we can just finish this right now. Wedding Invitation. Double Galvanic will do it too. All right. Oh, I was gonna BM them by Dust to Dusting, but I actually don't have the red now, and I'm not gonna slow roll them with the Galvanics. So, okay. Well, Dust to Dust still works. I do think we're a little soft to them in the first game, but I also think that we drew really poorly that first game. But Dust to Dust comes through. All right, on the play for this one. And now we actually have a reasonable hand. 2 lands with a wildfire, one of which is a bridge. Seems pretty good. Some removal, some value. Unless they duress us right here. That would be annoying. Nested Shambler. Okay. Playing against some old black sack. I can dig it. We're going to wildfire and just pull out green in case we top deck or draw an untapped land. Then I can get a Chrysalis going. So they play a swamp. They swing for 1. Play a ghast. And just pass. Okay, we get a bridge. That's not bad. I think we're just playing the Inspector, and then I can hold up Clue or maybe Landscape. This blocks. It doesn't mean I get to hold... It means I don't get to hold up Galvanic Blast, but I think that's okay. We're just not going to be blocking the Shambler. in case of a supernatural stamina. Yeah, I assume they're just going to village rights on the end step, get a treasure. They're going to swing. I'm never blocking. They do still have the stamina, so they must have a sack outlet. But in case they didn't, I'm not going to give them that opportunity to trade for this. Village rights. Pretty good. And then a Sage. No Carrion Feeder or anything. We're going to crack the Clue. I'd like to draw another land. That's nice. Wedding Invitation is not bad. So, of course, we just Chrysalis here for blockers. Play the Bridge. I could play the Wedding Invitation. I think I'd rather just have the blockers. And without them having a Beetle or anything at the moment, we can block Stonewall them pretty well here. I mean, they could still just swing everything in, but I could pick off 2 squirrels and then only take a little bit. If they were to attack without everything here, you always want to just block the tokens first so that even if they have a stamina or something, they're not going to get value off of it, at least not by your hand. Another Sage. They're not drawing great, although I guess if they have a Rite of Consumption in hand and just find a Vampire, that would be more than lethal, so we should be aware of that. For that reason, I could just Hunter and hold up a Pulsamarasa, which could put me at 22, 8, 18, 19. They can only deal 19 right now with a Rite of Consumption. It's just something to consider. I think I probably want a Hunter going anyway. It finds our land and deals them damage. We get a Hydra next turn. We can maybe just deal them lethal, potentially. I need to count the math. I need to do the math, but with Galvanic Blast, Hydra, and everything else, it seems good. Maybe I should have gotten a Mountain so I could hold up Galvanic here, but on the off chance that they are going to do what I'm thinking they might do, then this is the only way we survive. Galvanic wouldn't really do anything against a Vampire into a Rites. They're a little flooded, but they still have 4 cards in hand. But except for the Rites play, they're really stopped here. And they haven't found a sack outlet other than some Village Rites, so they're not doing great. On my turn, if I go Nyxborn Hydra for all of our mana except for a red, that's going to be 7, so this is going to grow by 5 plus the counters from Spawn. It'll be a 9 power Trampler. This is going to get 2 counters from the Forge, so this would be 7 power. That's 16, and then with the red, we Galvanic Blast them. So if they don't block, we could just kill them here. They do play a Beckoner. Not the worst thing ever for me, although not the worst for them either. They just pump the Shambler, get in, I assume, with everything. Well, I'm certainly just going to eat as many of these as I can, which is probably just 3 spawn, or 3 squirrels, because I want to save these for mana for the Hydra. If they don't chump with the Beckoner, I can just get them. Yeah, so let's just eat 3 squirrels here, and then take 5. They do take the initiative, but which means I don't get those 2 counters, actually. I mean, I couldn't have blocked everything, so it didn't matter, but that is relevant, because I actually needed the counters before combat, so that's 2 damage down the drain, so that does change the math. They have another Shambler. They do have a Swamp in hand, only 2 cards. We get a Great Furnace. That's 1 more mana for the Hydra. So that's 1 more, but then we lost 2 damage, so it's not quite lethal unless we also attacked with the Inspector and somehow they didn't block it, which seems unlikely. I could Wedding Invitation. That uses up mana. Don't think there's any way I'm going to kill them now, this turn, unless I Wedding Invitation into Galvanic. That puts him to 8. That puts him to 12. I guess there's a world where I could do that. I think I'm starting with this anyway. Another Inspector. I kind of want to hold up Pulse now for the life gain, which means I need to hold up 3 mana, which means I only have 4 to work with. So I could put a Hydra on this for 6. I could do it just for 1, and then I could also play an Inspector. No, I couldn't, because well, I would have had to save a spawn, but I didn't do that. I think we put this here, bestow for 2. I guess if I attack with both of these, they might just trade this off. That would make sense. I still get a big guy here. I need to avoid them trapping us before the end of the game. I think if they want to trade that, that's fine. Maybe it's not ideal. Maybe I should have just Wedding Invitation to the Hunter here. Hit for 11, Galvanic, and then trap when I get the trap the following turn with an Avenging Hunter is lethal. Yeah, I think I should have done the Invitation, because this doesn't even have Trample, so I could just chump this. They didn't end up blocking. They thought about it, so I guess it's good I didn't do that. Okay, they go to 11. I put 2 counters on, I think I just wanted on this guy, or this, for the unblockable, although this is already lethal with unblockable. I guess I'll just put it here. This guy's kind of just chump blocker. I could definitely die here, but I have 1 blocker, and I have the Pulse that they don't know about. Alright, they play a Carrion Feeder, and they warp a Beckoner, so that's going to be infinite. So if they have the Rite of Consumption as their last card, this kills me, and I can't Galvanic the Beckoner in response because it's too big. And Pulse Marasa doesn't matter. If it's just pumping the Shambler, it's fine. I mean, I can I mean, if they have the right, I'd die. I don't have any way out of this. So I could Galvanic the feeder now, but they're just going to sack some guys to it. I think we'll let it resolve and see if they're going for the combo. Looks like it. I mean, I'll Galvanic Blast the Carrion Feeder. If they let it die, that's our out. But if Rite of Consumption is their last card, we are going to die. If we had like 3 Galvanic Blasts, well, we would have already won the game. But we could also take out the feeder then. Their last card, Supernatural Stamina. Okay. I don't know why they would use that on this and not one of these guys that could then go and like grow it and survive. But that's infinite, but they don't have a kill here. And Carrion Feeder is now not only tapped, but can't block. So it's also not going to block our Trampler. So I'll let them infinite if they want to, but I believe that's not going to stop us. In which case, I probably should not have used the Galvanic Blast, because if they had the right, we were dead either way. And now I guess there's a world where they could block enough, but we're still trapping them, so that still seems unlikely. All right, and they concede. They didn't even go through the motions there. We don't honestly have much of a sideboard for Black Sack, and without Death Touch in our deck, the Krarks are a lot worse. I still think they're good enough to keep, but we could definitely get overrun by a quick some quick creatures that we can't deal with. I think Thraben Charm as removals the only thing we might have. Avenging Hunter seems like a liability. It was fine there because all they had was 1/1s, but if what they had was like the 1/1s that they could take the initiative with as well as a big creature that was eating one of our guys every turn, it seems kind of bad. And we do make enough creatures that Thraben Charm could take down something as big as like an 8/8, so I think that's a decent swap. Black Sack is an aggro deck, but I don't think bringing in Weather the Storm is good against it, because it's not going to run out of steam in the same way that Mono Red is, because you can Weather the Storm and gain 30 life. I've had my opponent do that before, but if I still just have, if the Black Sack player still just has 2 10/10s, that's not going to take very long to win. All right, this hand has no white. Otherwise, I would probably keep it. This one's not bad. We're keeping the card draw and then definitely the Chrysalis in our lands. So we'll get rid of the Breacher. Probably not great here anyway. They have so many chump blockers that unless we find a Fling or a Wedding Invitation, it's going to not be very effective. They have a Shambler. We get a Galvanic. That's not bad. Carrion Feeder. And another Shambler. We can't get Metalcraft and then Galvanic Blast right now. Otherwise, I might try to use it on the feeder to either kill it or wipe the Shamblers. But since we can't, I think we just play a Wellspring. And then next turn, I could do it if I want. They could have something else in the meantime. If they have a Stamina or a Beetle, we're going to be in a pretty tough spot. But that's how it goes. There's a Sage. They have the Stamina. It's also possible I should have just left up Galvanic Blast for a Stamina. I could see that, because this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 triggers. They just get in for the 5 damage. I think that's reasonable. If I find a Krark here, that'd be pretty good, because I could wipe all this away, but then block the feeder. Without it, though, we're in a pretty bad spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we're going to die, but we're just going to leave up Demand Answers and Galvanic. We can get a Chrysalis down next turn if we don't quite die. If they go for another Stamina with their last card or a Perigee Beckoner, Galvanic can stop that. Blast on the feeder is irrelevant at this point because they're happy to feed a bunch of these squirrels into the feeder anyway. Sack the Sage on the end step. Smart. And a Shambler. I don't know if I would sack the second Shambler just because if they top deck a Stamina or something, they're going to want it, but they have another Shambler. Okay, and a feeder. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's lethal. Let's see if they go for it. They certainly should. Shambler, Squirrel, and feeder. All right, that is going to be lethal. I could shoot one of these, but they just grow this. I could shoot this, but that's too big. And I don't think we have anything for free to draw, so they got us. All right. We're going to be on the play this time, so that helps. Let's look for a Krark hand. Maybe a turn 3 Chrysalis with a Cleansing Wildfire would be good. There's a Wildfire. Galvanic's not bad. We're going to keep this one. I will say I haven't played against Black Sack all that much, so I'm probably not the best person to play against it. Like maybe I wasn't leaving up Galvanics when I should have been. But I certainly play it a lot. We're going to Cleansing Wildfire here, ramp and hope to find a Chrysalis. I can get Metalcraft next turn. They have another Sage and a feeder. They swing for 1. We get a Forest. So here, I might just Galvanic the feeder. They either have to lose it or sack all of this right now. Invitation. Chrysalis is good. Wish I had it this turn, although this might still be the better play. I could also wait and then but they're going to have more guys, so I don't think I wait. I could try to fling in response to the feeder, but I think we're just trying to shoot it now. If they want to make it a 5-5, so be it. They are going to go for it, and depending on their hand, I could see either way. Like, if they have another sack outlet, maybe letting this one go isn't a big deal. If they don't, I think it's fair to keep it around. They have a Bloodthrone Vampire. Okay. I'm going to chump. They're going to pass. We get a Plains. Okay, so I can Chrysalis, hold up Demand, and Fling. They're just going to swing with the Feeder. We'll block, sacrifice, and actually I think I'd rather just sack my Clue here. There we go. I would demand away a bridge there, but the landscape already turns into a new card, so I think that's fine. Although now I might just play the bridge, then I have up landscape and demand and fling. They're going to swing, I'll block, sacrifice, and I think, yeah, I'm going to cycle this in response. And then I might demand answers. We got another landscape. I don't actually need to now because I don't need that mana. So we'll see what they do. Nothing. Okay, I think I'm going to demand and sack this Wedding Invitation. It doesn't currently seem that useful. Another Chrysalis is good. Luxknight Breacher's not bad. This will give us enough to kill the feeder with the Chrysalis. So we're going to play this. And then now I kind of want to play this landscape. I guess I don't need to at the moment. I'm going to swing with my Chrysalis now. Hit for 4. And we'll pass with our stuff up. They're drawing, but not casting anything. There's a Beetle. In response to the Beetle, I think I might want to kill the Carrion Feeder with the Charm. I'd just rather them not have another creature they could sacrifice on the board. If they have a way to kill like 2 creatures in response, it's kind of bad, but the only way I could think they would do that is, I mean, if they have Snuff Outs, that would work, or like Tragic Slips. Village Rites. Okay, maybe they're just flooded with Village Rites effects, and they didn't have anything to sacrifice to them. That's not bad, though. Killing that. They have 2 good creatures, and a Carrion Feeder. That's fine, too. Pass. Another Breacher. Okay, so Breacher is 8 right now when it enters. So actually, if I attack and they don't block, I could just kill him, because I could deal him 10, and then I could fling. So let's play a Breacher and swing with the Chrysalises. They don't block, so we're going to sacrifice a spawn. We're going to sack another spawn. And 10, 18. I guess if they have a Spinning Darkness, we could die here. Or we wouldn't die, but they would just not die. I think I'm going to take that chance. And we're going to fling the Breacher at them. They grow again off the Beetle, but they take 8 to the face, and then they take 10. All right, we got there. Oh, and that was game 3. All right. That was a very close match. This one felt not too bad. I think Galvanic blasting them, making them lose all of their fodder early, it worked out for us. I will say, since they had the Bloodthrone Vampire, maybe they top decked it, so they couldn't have known. But if they already had that in hand, I probably would not have sacrificed all of those, because then they got stuck with no fodder to sacrifice. All right, a little heavy on lands, one more than I'd prefer. But this is a turn 3 wild, or Chrysalis. Well, now it is. I guess actually it wasn't before. Just Island. I hope it's not High Tide. We're going to have a tough match if it's High Tide. We're drawing exclusively lands. Well, they have F6'd already, it looks like, which means it's probably got to be High Tide, because any other blue player is going to have counter magic potentially. Oh, never mind. It's Faeries. Still kind of weird, but I guess they didn't have any counter magic. Well, there's a Galeblade. And just slam a Ninja the Deep Hours. I feel like they're 1 turn behind, which is pretty nice for us. We get down a Chrysalis here and pass. Flash in the Galeblade again. They have an of 1 mind. Okay. Harrier Strix, bind the monster. Yep, that lets them get through. Another of 1 mind. Definitely going to throw a spawn in front of the Ninja, although they're still drawing so many cards because of these of 1 minds. Still sacrifice in case this guy ever becomes relevant again. For example, a Fling. Galvanic's not bad. I could breach her as a 6/6, or I could breach her as a 5/5 and shoot the Galeblade. But I have to lose the spawn. That's a blocker. I don't want to hunt her yet. I think I'm going to go for the Luxknight and leave up the spawn in case they have another one of these. Just play a 6/6 here, which is not bad. I mean, they need another Bind the Monster or like a Harrier Strix. Or it's just a good blocker. Another Galeblade. I have been wanting to try out this version of Faeries. Although we haven't seen any Faeries yet. Could just be blue tempo. Another Bind the Monster. That is 6 damage to them, which could be good if we get a Fling because of this Galvanic. We could almost have them. They have a Ninja for the Galeblade. Oh, I forgot to sack the spawn. Probably fine. They pass. I really don't want to Avenging Hunter here. That seems bad. They could just have a counterspell. That's also bad. I guess everything's kind of bad here. I could demand answers. I think that's probably my best bet, discarding a land. If they counter this, I can at least Galvanic one of these guys, I guess. We just get more things. I guess Wellspring and a bridge. Okay, I think we're going to Galvanic a Ninja on the end step. Well, I expected them to do something, but they held up. They do have a Faeries here. Okay, Scry 2, Galvanic a Ninja. They have a Galeblade in hand, probably counter magic. I guess a way that we win is just burning them out, but that seems very unlikely at this point. Fighting this doesn't seem great either, but I think it's maybe a little better. We'll just do that. Yeah, it walks into the spell setter. They draw 2 cards. Oh, if Makeshift Munitions resolves, it'd be really, really good. I could Hunter first, but not only do I think that probably, even if that does resolve, they kind of just get us and get the initiative, and that's bad. But also that means even if we get the makeshift, it's we're tapped out. So I think we just have to hope they have nothing for this, and they do. All right. Well, double Bind the Monster in their main deck that they drew very quickly seems very unlucky for us. We do get 5 Pyros. Krarks are no good. Don't think Wedding Invitation's necessary. Pulse is fine. Fling is risky, but I think it's still probably good to keep. Hunter's so bad. Maybe we just cut all the Hunters. Not running up against good Hunter matchups. Thraben can kill something, at least. Okay, we have Inspector and we have Galvanic. Not the best hand ever. I think I just hold up Galvanic Blast and try to shoot this guy. They have a Faeries here. Scry 2 to the top. We get another Galvanic. I think we're going to just try to keep those off the field. Play around Spell Pierce, but they could certainly Dispel or Blue Blast. Can't do anything about that. Do I just want to get red or green here? I think I'd rather just play the Wellspring, honestly. Although actually maybe I should have gotten green because I could get a Hydra down, and I don't hate a 2/3 Hydra. Yeah, they have Hacker, replay the Fairy Seer, one at the top, Pyroblast. I think we just Inspector, hold up Pyro, sack Landscape for Forest. Of one mind, just swing with the Fairy Seer. I'll take a damage, sack the Landscape. We get another Forest, so I could play a 2/3 Hydra with a Pyroblast backup. I could also just play it bestowed on this as a 1/3. It would make this a 2/3 blocker. I guess if they lock it down with the Bind the Monster, that's doubly bad. Plus, it's just not quite as big as I'd like it to be. I think we're just playing this as a blocker. They're going to counterspell. I'm going to try to Pyroblast it, but they have the Dispel. Snare Master Sprite. Swing for 3. And they have a Ninja. Feels like they have all of the answers. Oh, they have another Ninja. Yeah. They just have all the answers at all times, it feels like. We'll just play a big ol' 8/8. Fairy Seer. Scratch 2 to the bottom. Snare Master, they can tap the Breacher down. Swing for 5. Play an island, hold up 2 mana. I will crack a clue. We get a Fling. Not what we need at the moment. I'll play a Wellspring. Yup, Spell Stutter for that. Bridge, pass. They have a Bind the Monster, and that's just lethal. They just had everything they needed at all times. Sometimes that happens, I guess. Okay, this is not a great hand until we get to turn 4, and then it's an amazing hand. So, easy keep. That is if we draw another land. Mountain off the top would be nice, because we can't... Yep, can't actually kill that turn 1. And another 4-drop, exactly what we wanted. I mean, if they're Ponza, they can't Ponza us turn 1, so that's something, I guess. But they could also just Chrysalis a lot faster than we can. Repurposer, not quite as bad. And then a Rumble? Nah, just nothing. Alright, sack that for a mountain. Demand answers. Well, we're going to take out the Arbor Elf. Play a Plains. Although they still have 5 mana on turn 3. So, swing for 3. And a Crew Shock. Okay. We just get a Makeshift Munitions. I don't think that's doing us any good here. So, just in case we can draw a bridge, I'm going to just discard... yeah, Munitions just is useless. So, we'll just discard that. And draw. We find bridges. Hey, if we can survive this turn, and they didn't have a land drop, meaning they are still on 3 mana, maybe 4 again. If we can survive here and start slamming Chrysalises, we might be okay. They do find a forest. Swing for 7. They have an Evolution Witness. Okay. Another land. Alright, well, we're gonna do this. They have the Witness with Crew Shock combo, is what they're doing, which, unless they get like have a Rancor or something, means this guy can be very, very big, but no trample. And I can block the Crew Shock here, and I can block the Repurposer, so if they don't have any way to buff their stuff, which they could have a Crew Shock in hand, in which case, if they attack with a Crew Shock, I'll know that that's a possibility, and I won't block it this turn. Oh, I should have played the Ancient Den, because it would be an extra artifact for the Breacher next turn, in case I play a Bridge. Yeah, just a minor mistake. They have a Ram through on the Crew Shock right now. Okay, so I could sack both spawn. Sack both spawn, I could keep the Chrysalis alive, but then they could attack with everything, and I'd either have to trade the Chrysalis or take 9, which if they have a Crew Shock in hand, they'd kill me. I could just let it go. It still tramples for 1, which is annoying if I let it go. And then I take 4, so I'm at 5, and then I chump the Repurposer, but then I have another spawn for the Chrysalis next turn. It's a tough call. Part of me wants to keep it alive, but I think I just need to let it go and chump with these spawn. Maybe just one of them, to be honest. They swing with everything. Block here. This doesn't kill me, even if they have a Crew Shock, it would put me at 1. I think we just do that. They also just have an Adapt. I forgot about that. Well, still, puts me to 1. I'm not dead. They get an Arbor Elf. And Inspector's another blocker. So I have to play a Chrysalis. We're leaving up a white. And then I could play a Breacher, but I have to sack all 3 spawn, which is a terrible idea. Plus, it only makes this like a 5/5 anyway. So we're just going to play an Inspector. We have a bunch of blockers. This guy can be a 5/6, which isn't actually big enough to really block a Crew Shock if they give it 2 more counters beneficially. Which means if they do attack with that, I might double block it with Chrysalis and Inspector, just in case. A Ram through kills me no matter what. I can't do anything about that. That was kind of the deal I had to make when I let the Chrysalis die last turn. Because I could have kept it alive and traded it for the Repurposer, and then we still would have taken 8. We would be at 2. Yeah, it wouldn't have been much different. They have a Hydra for this to have trample for 6 power. This can be a 5/6, but then this tramples over it. Yeah, I can't block that. That's annoying. This could be a 5/6, but I can't block this with trample, and I could block this, and then unless I somehow draw a colorless spell for 1 mana that keeps me alive. So I can block like this, but I'm trampled here. Somehow I didn't get there. Well, we did keep a risky / bad hand, and I knew about that. Thraben Charm is just early removal, or removal at all, but also blows up enchantments is not bad. Weather is okay. I mean, it's not amazing because they're enormous, but, you know. Wedding Invitation's good. Makeshift is useless. Krark is good. I think Avenging Hunter's good, especially if they have Avenging Hunters. Maybe cut like a Wellspring and a Demand. We don't want to draw too much. All right, let's just keep a good hand, and we might have a chance this time. All right, this hand is a lot better than last time. We're on the play, and we can get a Chrysalis on turn 3 instead of turn 4. So, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not actually insane, but, I mean, Cleansing Wildfire turn 2 is always good. If they just start with like a Utopia Sprawl in their forest, I'll probably just Cleansing Wildfire that. Well, tempted me. We'll see what I draw, because I do need to hit my 4th land, but slowing them down sounds good too. Galvanic's not bad. Well, I'm playing Wildfire no matter what. I could just go Chrysalis, and then with my Hunter, I really need to get to 5 mana. I think we're just doing it on our own. It pains me because I could potentially cut them off a lot of stuff here, but we'll just get a Plains and pass. Breacher's not a bad follow-up to a Chrysalis. They have a Repurposer, Ancient Den, play Chrysalis, and now if they can't really break through, I could just Hunter and hold up Galvanic Blast. Although Blast is only 2 right now, but still. Wild Growth. If I see another Wildfire, I'm taking that out. Almost 100%. Just a Nyxborn Hydra as a 3/4. That's kind of weird to me. What do they got going on? Rustvale Bridge. So I could play that and just play a Breacher as a 7/7. Could also just Avenging Hunter and hold up Galvanic, like I said before. I think that's better. Again, it's just holding up Galvanic doesn't do much with it only being 2 damage. So I actually think I'm gonna just run out the Hunter and just leave up the extra blocker. I mean, this seems pretty decent. Wedding Invitation plus Breacher is pretty good, so we should probably set up to Breacher next turn, and then Invitation, and potentially just get in for lethal that turn with Galvanic for 4. Breacher's going to be like 10-ish, and Hunter could be 7 plus Trap. but we'll see what they do. Mountain, they got 7 mana here if they have like an Altasaur or even just a boarding party. They have a Hunter. Interesting. I think I can take that back without too much difficulty with the Galvanic Blast, although if they have a Crew Shock, always got to be worried about that. Then they could have a way to pump the Hunter at instant speed. I could also just take it back with an Invitation. Ooh, another Breacher. Let's see. I could just Invitation and take the initiative, then play a Breacher for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be an 8/8. That's pretty good. And then also hold up Galvanic on 4 damage now. I think that's probably the play. So let's just play a Wedding Invitation first. In case we get like a Great Furnace or something. Thraben Charm's not bad. I could also... Okay, that changes things, because I could just shoot the Hunter and the Nyxborn with these and then just attack. I don't actually know if that's better. I kind of still like my play from before. So we're going to sack a spawn so we can keep up our red. Playing the Breacher first so that we get the extra counter from the Invitation, and then we're going to sack this on the Hunter to attack for 5, and we're going to grow the Chrysalis. We're going to have 2 enormous creatures. Oh, but by sacrificing the Invitation, I lost Metalcraft again. Definitely a little tricky here. That's okay. I still have enough blockers for all their guys, unless they get a hasty guy like a boarding party. Plus, I just have guys that will eat theirs, so they're going to have to throw some away if they want the initiative. But I should have kept up white since I wasn't going to have the Galvanic Blast be online, because I could at least have a Thraben Charm for 6 damage, and now I don't. They have another Repurposer. That is totally fine. Pretty innocuous. And they can't swing. All right. So I did use up the Wedding Invitation to do that, which means we don't necessarily have a kill yet, but if I find a Fling... then I think we're going to be good. So I could play this, and... I mean, this is just going to be a 10-10, right? A 9-9. Well, I guess I can't quite Fling here. I think we're just passing. I could have left up 2 red, and I could have gone for it. They could have, like, a Weather the Storm. That would be a really weird one to have brought in, but it's always possible. But I think we'll certainly untap and just Fling and Galvanic them if we get to that point. They have a Witness, and they're going to swing with a 5/4 Hunter. I am intrigued by what's going to blow me out here, so I'll just block with a 9/9. All right, they concede. All right, that one went pretty well for us. The Luxknight Breachers are really good in this match because they're just enormous. Like, their deck, they actually are playing Ram-Throughs, but sometimes they don't play removal at all, and Ram-Through is dependent on how much power they have. But they can't break through a board stall like that very easily. They have to go around it as opposed to actually removing the creature usually. And if we just have 3 enormous creatures, they just can't get there. We are going to be on the draw here, so it's possible we will not have as much luck, but we'll see what happens. All right, this is a tricky one, but we're going to keep it. We have a lot of... we have a Krark Clan Shaman, which is really good against their deck. Often, even if we have to sacrifice 5 artifacts to wipe their board, wiping their board once will often win us the game. We do have 2 Inspectors to make artifacts along the way, and 1 Bridge. But, I mean, we definitely need to draw some stuff here. Cleansing Wildfire would be a good draw, as always. We need some green mana so we can get this Chrysalis down. Cleansing Wildfire would be especially good, because that could blow up their thing here. And just in case we draw it, I think I'm going to play the Bridge first. If not, I can still just play 2 Inspectors next turn. Probably won't be able to attack anyway if they have like a Repurposer. Saga Wildling, okay. So no 3-drop. They're just getting their second land here. They have another Wild Growth. They put it on a different land, smartly. We just get another Bridge. We do need those artifact lands. I'm going to play that and 1 Inspector. Next turn, if we don't draw like a green source, I'll play the Landscape so we can get green. This isn't going terribly. They've been a little slow, although if they just like slam an Avenging Hunter here, it's going to be pretty rough. A Repurposer's not as bad. I can live with that. And they pass. Hydra's decent. So part of me wants to crack this Clue, but we also kind of need to bank artifacts for this Shaman. So I think we're just playing another Inspector, cracking the Landscape for green, and next turn we can play a Chrysalis. I do find a Forest, so that's 6 mana. No red, although we haven't seen a boarding party, so I don't even know if they're playing them. Do have an Avenging Hunter, however. Find a Mountain, sack a Landscape for green. I think our best way to take this initiative is to find a Hunter of our own. Another Inspector. Okay. Oh, but they're going to Forge. I could Krark and wipe everything for 4, but I have to lose my lands, and that's not good. If I could do that after I have a Chrysalis as a 4/5, it wouldn't be terrible, but their Hunter's going to be too big at that point. I mean, I still think we're just playing Chrysalis and passing. Now I might crack a Clue with the Spawn. just because we kind of need to draw something. Plus, we do have a 4th artifact in hand with the Inspector. Yep, grow the Hunter. I could triple block the Hunter, and I wouldn't lose. I would keep 1 Inspector, which if they tap out, I might actually do, although they do have a boarding party into another Hunter. Well, that is lucky, isn't it? Okay, so we take 5. They swing with these guys. So yeah, this could be a 4/5. This would be 6 damage. I could throw everything in front of the Hunter, jump here, sack these, crack a clue. Then I could play Krark. I could wipe the board, but they have the initiative. I could wipe the board and then play a Hydra, but they still have 6 mana and they just play anything and we lose. Probably. I could take the 7 here, but that feels like asking for trouble. We're definitely cracking a clue. I think I gotta trade with this guy, unfortunately, but we don't have to do the Krark play necessarily because it seems kind of bad right now. Crack a clue. Another Chrysalis. Okay. Trade an Inspector and the Chrysalis for the Hunter. Now it's our turn. We have a Breacher. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This could be an 8/8. That just stonewalls them. And it's big enough that next turn I could Krark, wipe the board, take the initiative. I think that's the play. Part of me wants to get the Crystals down first because it could be 3 more power on this guy, but I would like to, if I can, stop them before they get to the throne. And this seems like a pretty good way to do that. They draw a card. Well, they have the perfect card, the Nyxborn Hydra, to make this even bigger, which means my Krark plan is once again not going to work. They attack with that. I mean, I could trade both of these for this. And then they have a 5/6. They still have the throne. They have 3 cards in hand. I'm never winning that game. I could take 10, and I mean, I can't kill this with the Krark, which means I have to kill this way. Yeah, I mean, Hydra's going to get me. I don't think there's anything else I can do. This definitely was a match very dependent on who goes first. Galvanic Blast. I mean, I could Galvanic Blast the Hydra with a Krark I could wipe the board. I could do this on their turn, next turn maybe, but they have to hit something tiny off the throne, which is never going to happen. Yeah, we're just playing a Chrysalis and passing. They found another Avenging Hunter. Swing with the Hydra. We're going to take 5. This thing has hexproof, of course. Because if it didn't, I was thinking I could Galvanic Blast it, wipe the board for 3, get in with my Chrysalis, and at least we're passing back the initiative at that point, maybe. They just have a Witness, which can get back another Hunter. Wellspring. Well, we might as well play the Wellspring. It's a 5th artifact. I guess another Chrysalis would help us block here, or another Breacher. Avenging Hunter. Okay. I mean, that takes the initiative, obviously. It finds us a land. It could be a Krark, or it could be a mountain. I could play Krark for 5. The problem is they have this Trampler that survives that. Well, they have 2 Tramplers that survive that. So that's not really going to work. I could just get a Forest, so next turn I could Hydra. But what do we got to do? We got to double block this. 9. Or I could block. Well, whatever we're doing, we're casting this Hunter. I don't think a Forest is good enough. I think we need to get another red so we can put something down here. Question is, put down Krark. No. Everything I do makes me lose all my guys, which means that I can't take the initiative. Here's a mountain. Krark for 5, but these have trample, so we die. So I'm just passing. I'm pretty sure we're dead, but I guess there's a world where we survive. They're going to activate the Evolution Witness. Right, they can just get back the Hunter from grave. I couldn't stop that even if I wanted because they have another 2 mana to adapt the Witness. So they could Hunter pre-combat for 2 extra damage, but they could also just wait until they attack with everything, and then they Hunter. They almost inevitably take back the initiative, then they can Hunter and trap us, and that's probably going to be lethal. And yeah, that's the smarter play. So I could blast this. I could block here and block here. I could block here, and I go to I take 3, then I take 3 more. I think I need to hope to get another. I don't know why I'm still playing this. I don't think there's any way I can win here. Plus they just counters on the Witness, get back another Hunter. All right, let's just get out of here, please. All right. Krark was close so many times, but every single time it would just leave us without the initiative. And we never quite had enough artifacts to, because if I just had a couple more artifacts there, 2 more specifically, 2 of these lands or whatever, then I could have Huntered, taken the initiative, cracked, killed everything. They still would have had the Hunter in hand. Yeah, there's just no way we were getting out of that. I don't know. All right, let's try to get the 3-2. hand full of lands with Cleansing Wildfire. Always goes swimmingly, right? Play a bridge and pass. I don't know. These hands don't often, I feel like, turn out well, which honestly is a little weird to me because it's like we want mana, but of course, you know, maybe we just don't have maybe we just died to something faster, but it's also, I think often, I keep a 4 or 5 lander, maybe not a great idea, but then I just draw 3 more lands, and it's like, well, I think that's my issue, you know? I should have played this Great Furnace in case we get a Breacher. I guess we would have to play an untapped land here anyway, so it's not a big deal. I might just play Breacher as a 4/4 if it's our only play. Because everything else we have is bridges. Okay, I guess we're playing a 4/4 for 4. What an amazing card. It blocks, at the very least, and doesn't die to 1 bolt, or 1 fiery temper. Another Epicure. Jagged Barrens. Okay, they're Rakdos. Pass, we get a Demand Answers. I'm just going to play a Plains, and I'm going to Demand and Sheltering Landscape, I suppose, so we can draw into something hopefully relevant. Faithless Looting. Alms of the Vein. We're at 10. Another Epicure. Demand Answers, discard a bridge, Makeshift, we get a forest. I mean, I could make this an 8/8 with trample. I think what we do is we hope we don't die this turn, which is a tough call, but I attack for 4, I play a Chrysalis, hold up a Galvanic, use that, and then potentially munitions all these guys down on the end step. I think that's what we're doing. I don't know if there's any way we can deal lethal by next turn. Even if we do, because this is 4, this would be 8, 12, 16, leave us with 7. That seems like a tough sell. I guess I should actually probably just play this forest and munitions in case they get like a kitchen imp or something. No, I think playing the tap land I think feels better. And if they do get that, then I guess I'll just have to Galvanic it. Gonna blood token away a land on the end step. Another Faithless. Alms of the Vein. Down to 6. Jagged Barrens. Alright, well, we're not dead. And if there's any way we can get them, I think it involves using up every bit of our mana. So we're gonna Galvanic them on the end step. Another Chrysalis. So I could play another Chrysalis for 3 mana munitions down all their guys, and we have like 10 attacking in. That's not going to be lethal, but it's what we got. Yeah, I guess I gotta hope that their last 2 cards, that they're, you know, not able to deal us any damage. Throw a spawn at them, sack a spawn, throw another spawn at them, and then throw a Great Furnace at them. Attack for 10. I mean, we're only 1 turn behind them, so, you know, if we die here, so be it, but it's not a terrible showing. Pretty close. They gotta grab the prize with the Faithless, and now they just need any bolt effect. And that'll do it. Hardcast Fiery Temper. We played first, so I can't even blame play draw for that. Weather the Storm, and I mean, 3 Charms are not bad against Snackers, which we didn't see or care about there. Invitation, no. Krarks, I don't think are necessary. Makeshift was okay there. Hunter's really slow. I think I'd definitely prefer Thrabens over Hunter. I guess we can keep 1 of them in though. 2 forests. We only have 2 forests in the deck. Not gonna be keepable. This hand's good. Well, it's okay. Double Weather's decent. It's not gonna keep us alive by itself, but I do think we're gonna keep them both and get rid of 1 of the Wellsprings. Play bridge. We're going to just play Wellspring. Grab the prize in the Snacker. Yup. So we'll just hold up Demand and Weather. I don't foresee Weathering the Storm unless they Faithless into 2 spells here. Epicure. Just that. We're going to Demand Answers on the Wellspring. Spectre, Galvanic, and Fling. Galvanic again. I mean, Inspector blocks here, and I guess we just Galvanic down the Snacker on their turn to stop dying there. They have an Alms of the Vein. I have 7 cards in hand, and we're going to be at 10. You know, sometimes I think this deck is kind of outrageous, you know? I guess we'll just take it this time. Play a Swamp and just hard cast an Alms of the Vein. And then a Chain Lightning. I wish we had 1 more mana so we could Galvanic and then Weather, but I still think I'm going to Weather for 9 here. At least set back their turn. We get a Forest. Okay, so I can Nyxborn Hydra. I think I just bestow it, actually. So this is a 3/4, and they can't really get through it. I could also just make it a 2/3 by itself, or a 3/4 by itself. I think we'll throw it on here, though. We have 1 Weather the Storm, and they only have 5 cards in hand, so few. that maybe by holding back the snacker we can be okay here. They play a land and just pass. I mean, that's good to see. Great Furnace, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I could play a 7/7. I think that's going to be our best bet. It kills them pretty quickly. It's about 3 turns with Galvanics, but we also have Fling, so it could be about 2 turns. If we hit for 14, they'd be at 12, and then if we double Galvanic and Fling, we could be good. Of course, they have chump blockers, which makes it worse. Extract a Confession? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, I guess we lose our Breacher. That's pretty annoying. Another Galvanic. I mean, this is just 12 damage. Okay, I think we're just passing. This is 12 damage and 12 life for us. So I think we're just doing that at the end step and then seeing where we go from there. Although if they don't cast anything, maybe I just want to wait on it until they cast at least something. Sure, we'll crack the clue, I guess. We get a land. We get a Chrysalis. Okay, so that can start pressuring. I'll attack with the Inspector now that we have the Chrysalis that can block. So next turn, I think we'll probably triple Galvanic and Weather, depending on what we draw. Or at least we'll leave it up. We're gonna, obviously demand. We only have 3 red, so we can't actually do that too. The Chrysalis they can chump, but it is an extra damage. Although I don't really want to sacrifice anything or discard anything with this Answers right now. I guess we'll just swing with the Inspector, and we'll just pass. I think we'll wait for them to cast at least 1 spell to Galvanic. They duress. Okay, well, yeah, that's annoying. I guess we triple Galvanic and Weather in response, right? Then they can take Fling or Demand, and I don't care too much. So let's Galvanic Blast them. But I don't want them to take the Weather, and if they have 13 damage in response to this, I would be amazed, because that would take more than 4 lightning bolts. So now we'll gain 15, and then they can take whatever they want, which is going to be the Fling. I think that makes the most sense. That's the thing that kills them immediately. And they concede. All right, that was pretty good. Let's just try to do that again. This hand is not going to cut it. If one of those was a bridge, it would be okay. We do have the Cleansing here. I think we're putting back this Hunter. Actually, if we somehow survive to this, I guess we don't really need this Wellspring as much. I mean, Wellspring kind of helps us get to our 4th land, but I don't know. Play a bridge. Duress. I mean, not great. That takes our Cleansing, I assume. Could take the Thraben, but yeah. Then an Epicure. Okay, we get our Wellspring. I think we gotta play that. It means we don't have white off of this next turn, but if they already had Snacker and discard, they probably would have used it. Demand Answers is good. Hopefully that can find us a 3rd and 4th land. Grab the prize with the Faithless Looting. Bajuka Bog. Okay. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, that's interesting. I probably want a Wildfire. It for sure guarantees our land, as opposed to just maybe. So yeah, we'll do that. Although if we get a Plains, we actually can't Chrysalis unless we draw a specific untapped land. But we might want to hold up Thraben Charm, so I think we are going to do it. Fling. They swing for 1. Vampire's Kiss. Mountain. Another Galvanic. I feel like I have to Demand Answers and hope to find something here, so we're gonna do that. A land would be good. We do find a land. It's tapped. Another Thraben Charm. I think we're getting rid of one of those. In step, they get rid of an Extract a Confession. They bolt us. They've had a relatively slow start, but we've just had nothing really. The duress really screwed us up, and so they could certainly have lethal here, but even if they don't, we're not in a great spot. Grab the prize with another Faithless. If we draw an untapped land, then we could at least have Weather the Storm after 2 of our own spells. That could be decent. So I could like Galvanic the Epic here, Thraben Charm the Grave, and then Weather. They Chain Lightning us, we're at 4. We get a Chrysalis. Well, I could play a Chrysalis, it blocks the Epicure, but then we have nothing. I think I just gotta discard a card here. It's gonna be a Hunter, because that's not very helpful. They discard a Snacker on the end step. I have the Charm for that if need be. I just have to hope they don't have 2 instant speeds removal spells, like damage spells here. We're going to Galvanic the Epicure, and then if they try to kill us, we'll Weather the Storm. If they don't, we'll probably Thraben Charm their graveyard and pull out another forest. They just pass. We'll sack the landscape for a forest. So I could exile their graveyard now. They've got 2 Faithless Lootings and a Snacker. If they just have lethal in response, we're going to die. I guess we play it safe. I think they definitely have lethal, but I just don't know how long we can play it safe. But we'll see. We're going to pass. They're going to discard Alms of the Vein. And if they have 2 Lightning Bolts, I'm still going to die here. But I think I respond by blowing up their graveyard and then Weathering the Storm. And if they don't have 2 removal spells, or 2 damage, 2 Lightning Bolts specifically, then this is our best bet, I think. So weather, try to gain 9. That's going to work. So we're at 10. They have 4 cards in hand. That's a lot. Faithless Looting. Find another Snacker and a Fiery Temper. Not bad. And an Epicure. If we find another Weather the Storm, we could be okay. But no, just an Inspector. I'm going to play a Chrysalis. I don't think bluffing a Weather the Storm really does us any good. They're going to go for it anyway, maybe slowly, but still. So I think I'm just going to play an Inspector for the the 1 extra damage that we might be able to deal them in case it matters. But again, if they have the 6 damage, we're just dead here. If they don't have it till next turn, then maybe we can crack a clue and find a Weather if we're lucky. They discard an Extract. Yep, just looking for the kill. Vampire's Kiss us to 4. Blood token, discard a Snacker. If they blood again, they can get their Snackers back. I don't know if they really care about that, though. They might just want it for a Madness trigger. They have a Mountain, though, so they could do both. And they have it. Fiery Temper. So we're at 1. They have 2 Snackers. We can get a Chrysalis, so we don't die to these. Plus we have a Galvanic. Demand Answers. So we're going to cast another Chrysalis. Then we're going to crack this Clue. No, I think I just Demand Answers, because that draws 2, which helps me look farther. Plus it's a Storm spell. I discard this Fling. Fling could get us over the finish line. So I guess I'll just sack the Clue. I could sack a land. No, we'll sack Clue. Alright, Weather the Storm. Oh! It's there. Are we not dead? That's crazy. I could hold it, but I think that's a mistake. Okay, so if I hold it, next turn... Oh, I don't have enough red. I don't have enough red and green to play all 4 of these, so I think I just cast it now. Weather the Storm. If I have any chance of winning, I should probably attack for 6. I know I take 2 back, but that's a big trade. And they only have 1 card. Yep, they chump. They only have 1 card. They have to find 8 damage with 2 cards. That seems unlikely. Next turn I can Chrysalis. We can attack for 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Plus I could Fling. That could be lethal. I might just be able to deal them lethal this turn. But we're going to block a Snacker. Take 2. They have a Highway Robbery. If they draw really well, they could definitely kill us here. They sacrifice a Mountain, get back their Snacker. Grab the prize with the Fiery Tempers. Not quite lethal, unless they hit Mountain Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning. They don't. We get a land. This is lethal, right? Chrysalis. I also have a Galvanic. Yeah, so I'm very sure this is enough. Chrysalis. I'm freaking out here. One of these I have to sacrifice to the Fling, so I actually can't get the damage. But this is 14. This puts them to 12, right? 14 puts them to 12. Galvanic is 4. They're at 8. And then I sack this, and that's 8 more. Unless I've counted wrong, this is lethal. Galvanic Blast. Fling for 8. How on earth did I win that game? I thought I was so sure I lost like 4 turns ago. That's a crazy ending. Jeez. Well, I was very sure that I had already lost that game for so long, but they didn't have what they needed for a couple of turns, which was good for us. We found 2 Weathers. One of them was really, we were able to use at a good time. The other one just came exactly when we needed it, when we demanded answers for it. And then we were able to hit them for 26 in a single turn, which is pretty dang cool. So flinging for the win there was pretty sweet. We were able to fling twice, I believe, so that's pretty fun. But in general, this deck's not necessarily amazing. Luxknight Breacher is sweet. I don't necessarily know if this is the shell to get it as big as possible, because we were playing it for like 6-6 or maybe even as big as 10-10, which is not bad. I know that I was seeing it as like a 20-20 or 25 or something in Jeskai Cryosynth, which admittedly plays a lot more artifacts, so maybe a deck like that is more well-versed to play it. But the problem is with Synthesizer, Fling becomes kind of a risky one, and you just don't have enough creatures to really fling. You only have the Breachers. So in this game, in the end game here, we ended up flinging a Chrysalis, which was pretty sweet. But in general, I like the deck pretty well. Don't know if it really has legs, but it was fun to play for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, including my $10 and up patrons: Howard Granger, Laars, JMW, Josh Greninja, Rafa Rodriguez, and JDNPX. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.